Hi.
Hi.
It's
We'll
so
have to see if
beautiful.
there's too much background noise out here. I think we're okay.
I think you're okay. I think it's okay. And I
Great.
think it's good. Hi. It's so beautiful outside.
It's really beautiful.
Yay.
I had it where there was this big apple tree behind me and so many beautiful flowers, but then I just looked like, backlit.
Perfect. I'm just going to shut my door, but it's not
Okay.
distracting. All right. So I thought that I might just ask you a couple questions about David so that we can
Awesome.
put the ghost in. So let's see. David is going to be with us May 31st at 4 o'clock to talk about his new memoir.
Yep, his book.
My Search for Yoga. And you've been reading a little bit of it, like at the end of Pranayama. Is there anything that's surprised you so far in his book?
I really like all of his personal stories. And David has a photographic memory. So, I don't know if that's technically true, but he just remembers every little detail. So when I read it, I do feel like I'm picking up on teeny tiny details that maybe I haven't heard before.
Mm.
So I would say all the little details are the best part for me.
I also feel like he does it in this very non-judgmental way. Like he's not like analyzing his experience. It just feels like this is what happened. And so it feels fun. Like you're just along for the journey also.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. And I think he really took his time. Well, I know he took his time writing it. And I think it was to take out anything like that, to make it just come along for the ride.
And when did you and David connect?
He is the one with the great memory, so he would be able to tell you what year that was. I don't really remember.
We'll put that down as a question in our
long time ago.
Patreon thing.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time he came to Vermont?
I remember the first time he came in and did a workshop, and I felt like, actually, the first time that I had heard about him. So Beryl's lineage goes through Norman Allen, and then David Swenson's lineage goes through David Williams. But Beryl and Tom would talk about David Williams a little bit. And when David Swenson's Advanced Asana video came out, Advanced A and Advanced B, I was at Beryl and Tom's house and we watched the video together. And Tom was like, look at that. David just doesn't give a shit. He puts his knees down. And it was one of those things where he wasn't not all of the practitioners definitely had their own style and their own practice, and it was beautiful. But David's practice just looked like, whatever, I'm just doing this one more time. There wasn't any sort of like, oh, I need to do it really perfectly because I'm on this forever lasting video or anything. And his perfectly is he always puts his knees down in up dog.
Yeah.
And he always kind of practices the way that feels best, that he wants to. And that really came through in the video. And Tom just kept giving commentary on it. And at that point, I was like, I have to meet this guy, because if Tom thinks he's a renegade, he's a renegade. So that was the first time I was introduced to him. And then he came to the yoga studio, and, we didn't get pushed hard.
Mm-hmm.
We just practiced. And also it was that same sort of non-judgmental thing. It wasn't really about what I was doing in my practice. It was more, here's the information as I originally learned it, which is probably an important thing to put in your, treasure chest of trivia.
Yeah.
So not opening the arms in between the wide leg standing postures, and, just things like that. It was great. And at that time I was seeing lots of different, old school teachers, and they were
Yeah.
all practicing a little bit differently.
Yeah. And in the book, he talks about meeting, right? He and Norman Allen met in India, I think.
Yeah.
And so he talks about that. And my understanding is that Norman Allen brought Ashtanga kind of to the East Coast, where
Yes.
Tom and Beryl met him, and David brought it more to the West Coast.
Yeah.
And also brought Guruji and Manju
To America.
And then David Williams taught David Swenson.
Yes. David
Just
Williams,
in case people don't
David
know.
Swenson's first teacher. Yep.
David's first teacher, right? Because then David went to Mysore and stuff.
Yep.
And David likes to swim every morning, right? That's one of my fun facts or whatever things about him, because I feel like, I don't know if the gentleness came first or the swimming came first, but somehow that quality of
even reading the book, he'll mention like, oh, we were in Greece and we went for a morning swim. I think he was in the water. I think his two passions are being in the water and yoga.
Yeah.
And the reason he wanted to come in July was because we could swim together. So, I mean, he scheduled this next event that's obviously not going to happen, but he scheduled it around swimming in Vermont.
Got it.
Yeah.
Swimming and surfing.
Yeah. I mean, now he just swims. I don't think he surfs anymore.
Yeah.
We can ask him.
Okay. Is there any questions that you're particularly excited to ask him?
Well, what's so funny is I always have questions, and I'm always telling people like, okay, write that down. We need to remember to ask him. And the only one that I currently remember is when we're doing alternate nostril breathing in long form pranayama. The first is exhale left, inhale right, hold, exhale left, hold, inhale left, hold, exhale right, hold.
Yeah.
And then I loop the right side.
Yeah.
3 times. Then I loop the left side 3 times, and then I kind of
crisscross
figure 8 out.
Yeah.
But there's another person who like exhales left and then starts looping on the right.
Okay.
So that clearing breath of the left nostril, does it happen after the first figure 8?
Got it.
Or does it not happen?
Yeah.
And I asked both Rama and Amber that have spent a lot of time in Greece with him, like, multiple weeks, multiple times, multiple years. And neither of them could give me an answer. And I've also looked at the notes, and I haven't figured it out off of that. So
it's hard to tell the pattern out of the notes. Like, I'm just starting to understand. So for anyone who doesn't know, David Williams taught Kathy the long form pranayama that he learned from Guruji, and we have notes on it, and Kathy teaches it twice a week.
And it's the only thing I teach that other people are not allowed to teach, because I'm not into holding things really tightly, but it kind of belongs to David. And people are supposed to pass a test before they're allowed to teach it.
Yeah.
So you're fine to practice it. It's just don't teach it. And if I find out, or if anyone finds out, Ashtanga police, I'm totally kidding. If anyone finds out, then like I won't be able to share it.
Yeah. It would ruin the fun for everybody else.
If somebody wants to learn it, send them to me. I asked David if he would lead it for us, and he said not yet. Okay. So maybe in the future. We'll see.
That would be nice. Let's see. Anything else that we can think of to talk about Dave? I was just excited to sort of have people get to hear your thoughts about your relationship with David, because even when he comes, sometimes we don't always get to hear those little stories, which are that's why I'm excited about this, is that it's more like story time.
David's just really real and down to earth, and he is not pretentious at all, and he's careful, and he's like life affirming.
Yeah.
And he does have this one saying that we could ask him about. And that is that you should stop your practice when you feel like your prana is at its height.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I'm always super optimistic. So I just think, yeah, this is good. It might be better in a minute, you know? So I haven't really been like, oh, wait, this is the height of my prana for this practice. I should close out. But that's such a nice way of saying, listen to yourself, or listen to your body, or, you know, pay attention to your practice, or don't make it into one more to-do list, or
And have the focus be about how you're feeling rather than trying to like achieve a certain posture or
yeah. And David's really about practicing every day, practicing
yeah.
6 days a week, or, you know, like you can skip the new moon, the full moon, and the first 3 or 4 days of your period, but practicing every day. He would rather do like 3 sun salutation A, 3 sun salutation B, and then the final 3 lotus postures than do nothing.
Right. So practice in a way that your body tomorrow can practice whatever that means, whether you do less asana or you back out of your practice or your postures or whatever.
And usually you can always fit that in.
Yeah. The 3 A's.
Yeah.
3 B's and 3 finishing lotus.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He calls that the daily minimum.
The daily
And the other cool thing about David is he has practiced more than anyone who's currently alive, Ashtanga.
Yeah.
Because there were a number of years where he was practicing twice a day. And that was when he was like really quiet, not getting involved with everyone who was being competitive or trying to kind of own the knowledge. And he just practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced. And that went on for a really long time. And then he was like, okay, I've done the experiment and this is what I've figured out. So to have his book, like have the story that goes along with the powerful experiment, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, the background's moving.
Do you have the bunny with you? Bunny's probably
No, not right now. I don't want it to get away from me outside, but there are a bunch of chipmunks in my yard. Some of them are really small. I mean, they don't need to be rescued. I'm just saying there's a lot of babies everywhere.
Yeah, right. It's the time of year. The lilacs just blossomed.
Yeah. Oh, mine haven't yet.
No.
Maybe tomorrow.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Kathy. And
thank you, Sarah. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, we're so excited. So May.
Also, I just want to say, Sarah, thank you so much for putting together everything that's happening virtually, including this conversation that we'll have with David, and the ability to meet up on Zoom, and the ability to, I don't know, click on something and have it open up and be readable. Like everything you're putting together it's 100% the new studio.
So fun. And I'm so honored.
I'm honored. We're all honored. We're all thankful. So thanks.
Thank you. So let's see, May 31st, just in case anyone listened all the way to the end, May 31st at 4:00. If you're signed up on Patreon or on the newsletter, you will have access to the Zoom link. We'll send it out that morning. David shared with us a few chapters from his book, and there is a link to it on Patreon, and it is public. That link will also go out on the newsletter. And we need your questions. And so underneath that Patreon post in the comments, you can put your questions and Kathy will read them. And
just to keep things organized, and we don't know how many people will be tuning in, and also the Zoom, sometimes the connection is questionable. So all of the questions have to be submitted ahead of time.
Which is fun, because it means we get to think about it ahead of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then also we get to watch you and David talk, which I think is going to be fun, because I think you'll, I don't know.
Yeah.
Conversation.
It will be nice.
And let us know if you have any questions.
Thanks, Sarah. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.